I'd say when I was in my late teens. Yeah, my late teens, I got into opiates, and it started off with like Oxycontin, um, painkillers, the 80 milligrams, pretty much smoking it off foil, and then that got too expensive, so I went to smoking black tar heroin, and then up until December 13th, 2021, I was smoking those fentanyl pills that are like making people drop like flies.
Could you imagine being in that position of struggle, not finding the light for that help? Sort of like lost, knowing the way out, but not being able to get there. But before we get to that, let's start off with the sponsor for today. Yes, we have sponsors. And our sponsor for today is another podcast, actually. It's called Journey Chronicles. Life story from the passenger seats. And it has a host, the driver. And no, I'm not paying myself for this. I don't have enough money to cover for that. So I'm doing it for free. I'm sponsoring this podcast with this podcast so that everyone can have a chance in their lifetime to listen to this podcast. So you're welcome, world. But how are you guys doing? Before we continue with this show, let me remind you guys that we have socials: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, also here on Spotify, or also here if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. I'm trying to accommodate everybody, and hopefully everybody's having a good day or week or even year, because this year is almost over. We're in October now, so oh man, spooky. So as I mentioned on the last video, I'm doing some changes, some tweaking, some tightening up, and hopefully the changes are better so that the stories can be better. Hopefully the changes that I bring into this content, you guys will be enjoying it more, wanting to tell your friends a little more, and I'm as excited as the next person that wants to be on the podcast, because hopefully the people who have been in this podcast have been feeling natural and neutral on saying something, on making their voices get heard. Cool. Let's introduce the first ride of this episode, shall we? Merging into another street to head on over to give a ride to a teacher and her friend. Now, unfortunately, she never told me her name, so let's just call her Miss Teacher. She is the future of kids. She is the ambassador for good grades, and she is also the sunshine of many second graders. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Miss Teacher to the car, and let's allow her the moment so that she can tell us her story here on Journey Chronicles. Enjoy.
I'd like to talk about teaching. I'm a teacher.
Okay, cool.
And it's very difficult. It's a lot harder than I thought it would be.
Okay.
But I think it's worth it, I think.
Tell them why we're here.
Why are
I'm
you here?
because I graduated.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. I got my master's.
Oh, shit.
First one in the family.
That's a big achievement. Congrats.
Yes, thank God.
Are you first generation?
No. Yes? No.
From graduating of your family, I guess. You are the first, right?
No, I have 3 sisters.
Okay.
So my 2 older sisters, they got their undergrad.
Okay.
My little sister's still in high school.
Oh, I heard you say you're the first one of your family.
To get my master's.
Oh, yeah, to get your master's. Okay.
Yeah, but they got their bachelor's.
Okay.
Bachelor's.
I noticed that it got even way harder for you guys, teachers, after COVID.
Well, this is my first year teaching.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really, compare it.
All right.
But, I mean, I was a student during COVID, and that was very hard.
Yeah.
It was I didn't get to experience the college, for my bachelor's, I didn't get to experience the college experience. And then I did my master's online, so...
Oh, shit.
It was basically online for, forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, teaching is just it's very difficult. And it's just, there's not enough time in the day, to be honest.
So what's the reality of being a teacher?
Stress all the time. It's not even the kids that are stressful.
Yeah.
And the parents aren't either. It's what the curriculum or the state standards, what they want you to do. And it's just difficult, especially at a Title I school. Mm-hmm. I work at a Title I school, so a lot of them don't even know English.
What's a Title I school?
It's a school it's mainly poor.
Okay.
The area around it is poor.
Yeah.
So
Public school.
yeah, it's just like well, because there's like fancier public schools, you know,
Hell
in
yeah,
the bougie area.
But you know what? There are some public schools that are public, but you still have to meet some requirements in order to be in them.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's what stands them out from being bougie and from
Yeah.
any other generic public school that will welcome anyone, as long as you live around the surrounding areas, of course.
But I mean, it's crazy that the curriculum is the same in the bougie area, like the same in the ghetto area. Like, how does that make sense?
Yeah, well, from
like, you know, how do you expect EL students, like English language learner students, to get the same thing as a student who was born here in America?
Right.
That makes no sense. But I mean, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah.
Just kind of.
Well, there is a difference though. In a bougie area, you might have better equipment.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, what are the ones who aren't bougie supposed to do?
Fucking just deal with it and
yes.
put in the extra effort to get the hell out of there as, you know, as fast and accurate as possible.
Yeah.
I've seen both aspects, to be honest, from the student's perspective.
Yeah.
But since you were a student also, and now that you're a teacher, what's your main goal of being a teacher?
That's a good question. Honestly, not. Personally, I don't want to give up on my students. Like, sometimes it's hard, and I just kind of want to like leave. Like, I know that kind of sounds bad, but it's so hard sometimes, and it's like one time I stayed till 10:30.
Okay.
I got work, and we get off at 3:15. So like, it's just like, and especially as a first year teacher, you don't know the curriculum, you don't know what's coming.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so much to do, like I said. But my goal, like, for my students is honestly to help them read. Like, some of them don't know how to. I teach second grade.
Okay.
And some of them don't know how to read.
Oh well, yeah.
So just simple stuff, teaching them how to write, teaching them how to read. Like, depending on what place they are, I want them to be at least like one place up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
One more up, kind of like level up.
Right.
Know?
Right.
So.
Nah,
and
but you know what?
I like to be close with my students too. Like, I want to know more about them. I want them to trust me as their teacher.
Okay. Well, that's possible because as a second grade teacher, you can be the difference to a kid, especially in second grade. You can be that difference. You can be a good example. Just obviously it depends on you.
No, that's very true. I agree. Hopefully that is the outcome.
Yeah.
I mean, so far it's been pretty good. I love the people I work with, and I love all my students.
But as you mentioned,
I think it's going pretty well. It's just as a first year teacher,
exactly.
It's really hard. But I think if I had to do it all over again, I would do it again.
But why a teacher? Out of everything, why a teacher?
Because I can't see myself doing anything else. Like doctor, I couldn't do that. Like engineer, like any of that, I just can't see myself doing anything else but teaching. I actually enjoy it a lot. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know I did say that, sometimes I want to leave, but it's just because of the workload that's put on us as teachers. If it's not teaching, you have to do something like training or it's just so much work to do. And I think also I'm also in school. So I was in school while teaching, which was a double.
Shit, okay. Yeah.
So it was a lot. But I think going on it'll get better.
I went to school for architect.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I got my bachelor's and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I woke up and then I signed in to do lift. And that's what I'm doing right now.
I woke up?
Yeah. It was a dream.
Oh. What? Well, it doesn't have to be a dream. It doesn't have to be. Dreams do come true.
Definitely do.
But thank you so much.
Pleasure, guys. You guys have a good one.
You too.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is her story. And it's pretty amazing how teachers are born. One day, one of your students is going to come to you one morning and say, "Excuse me, Miss Teacher, thank you for being a part of my life." I mean, of course, maybe it's going to be a little too much for them to be thinking that way, at a young age, especially in second grade. But it's going to be close to that. It might be like, excuse me, Miss Teacher, you are the Barney of my life, or Teletubby of my life, or nowadays, you are the SpongeBob of my life. But whatever the case is, you are going to be that spark that they need every morning. Now, this guy has been in hell. And not only been in hell, but he's walked the darkest streets in hell. He's consumed so many negativity, but yet he's still with us. But before I spoil the beans, I'm gonna let him talk so that we can listen to what he has to say. And obviously he has a way better voice than I do. So here's Blake's story.
I'd say when I was in my late teens, I got into opiates, and it started off with like Oxycontin, um, painkillers, the 80 milligrams, pretty much smoking it off foil, and then that got too expensive, so I went to smoking black tar heroin, and then up until December 13th, 2021, I was smoking those fentanyl pills that are like making people drop like flies, and I tried so many times throughout the past literally 10 years almost, just to try to get clean, because I really like didn't want to do it anymore.
Right.
I went from having a very great upbringing. I was very blessed as a kid, and very very fortunate to have the experiences and the memories that I did.
Yeah.
And the life that I was provided with, and it went from like an innocent friend who's not with us anymore, just saying, "Oh, dude, it's like smoking weed, but better," And I didn't know what addiction was. I didn't know what withdrawal was. I didn't know what heroin was, or anything like that. And it started from that, and it would just turn into just a huge wrecking ball, for so long. But I was 29 years old, and I tried detoxes, I tried rehabs out of state. I tried many times different things, and I was on probation, didn't talk to my probation officer. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But I was on I was on probation. I hadn't talked to my probation officer in a while. This was right after COVID, and I was pretty much homeless, living in a tent in someone's backyard. This, not a negative influence, toxic person's backyard. They weren't making good choices either, let's just say.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I finally was like, Blake, like, you're 29 years old. What do you have to show for it? You nothing. I didn't have anything. And, I've worked since I was 15 and a half, barely graduated high school, didn't go to college. I've had a job, and I didn't have anything to show for it. I was spending all my money on my addiction. And I manipulated my parents and my loved ones and close friends. I'm sure there's things I can't even remember, and it's unfortunate. And maybe as time goes on, maybe I will never remember some of the dumb things I did and some of the crazy requests I asked some of my close ones, just to get that next high or just to feed my addiction, And I finally had this moment when I was 29 at the time, and I was in detox, and I looked at myself in the mirror for the first time, and I heard about this thing called like a spiritual awakening, in and out of the rooms of AA, NA, like all of that, like a 12-step program. And I thought it was like BS, I'm not to get into like religious things. I'm not super religious, but I know there's in my belief, I think, there's a God, there's a greater being.
Right.
And, my mom said, as long as you believe in God and you know right from wrong, she's like, I don't care what religion you call yourself. That's honestly like what she said,
Yeah.
But I heard about the spiritual awakening, and that's what the 12 step is kind of based on. And I didn't know what it meant, and then like I knew my moment, like something just clicked when I looked at myself in the mirror for the first time in detox. December, it was right after December 13th, around that time, 2021, and I was like, this is it, Blake. You're gonna be 30 years old. This is not who you are. You're not this person. You're not gonna end up like I see, unfortunately, these homeless people that are so old. They're of course addicted to something, alcohol or drugs or whatever, and it's just flying a sign or something. And I just knew that that's not who I am. I'm a social, outgoing person, a bunch of energy, positive. I was, one class clown in 8th grade and stuff, and I just knew that wasn't me. But made the choices I did, and like this time something clicked, and here we are. I just hit 22 months on the 13th of this month, and I don't think I've ever made. Honestly, I don't think I've ever made it this long. And I'm down to 4 milligrams. I'm taking this medicine called Suboxone. You know, blocks your opiate receptors from craving. There's other things like Subutex, methadone, and other things that like, but they don't have the blocker like this medicine does.
Yeah.
And that's like a whole nother conversation. But like, I'm utilizing it correctly, and I've literally like I have the most money I've ever saved up in my life in my bank account right now. I just got off probation. I'm working on getting my license back, and I of course there's some days are better than others, and I'm not it's not all peaches and cream, of course. There's a lot of FOMO and like things of like feeling that I wasted like so much of my 20s. I'm coming up on my 31st birthday here on Halloween, my golden birthday, and it's just like I'm happy where I'm at, and I have a lot more progress to make. But I just think that for anyone out there who might be dealing with something, and whether it's an addiction or just they're in a dark time, I'd say more so with an addiction, like I really feel like if you're not ready, by all means, like I don't want to condone and say keep doing like keep drinking or keep drugging or whatever it is, but at the same time, it like if like you're not ready, and like you got to do it for this reason, or besides like legal reasons, like if it's legally, of course, abide by the court, do what you got to do. But other than that, like if you're not ready, don't waste the resources. There's people who would love to get into a detox, people who would love to go to rehab, and people who really want to like try to turn shit around. But if when you're ready, look, the resources are out there. Insurance, no insurance, and you know what? If your state doesn't have it, there could be another state close by that can do it. Here, where we're at, thankfully, which I don't know if that's known or not, but where we're at here in this state, the resources are there, and I can't tell you how many times I've met people who are like, oh, I'm here from such and such state, so out of some other state, and they're just like, we don't have that where I'm from, and that's why I'm here. I'm like, well, you know what, that's good, man, that's good, and it's just weird. I don't know, something is different this time, and I am like actually being able to live life without being like trying to escape it, if that makes sense. Because I guess I think like there's things that like childhood trauma and like other things that happened when I was younger, and other reasons maybe why, and like I don't want to get into the whole like addiction is a part of it's in your genetics, or it's this, and like yeah, I mean like I don't know if that's necessarily like 100% whatever, but I got it, and I feel like there's some people are like, oh yeah, they can try things a couple times, but I guess I do have an addictive personality. I don't know, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm doing really good, and I'm really happy with the progress I've made. And I've been through some hard times. I've done time in county jail. I've been homeless. I've been living in my car at one point, and I was living in a tent at one point. But I don't know. Life's kind of good right now.
Well, first of all, I gotta say, man, congratulations on your success. That you're doing way better now, and it's always good to hear that. Do you remember? Was there somebody there with you at your lowest that was trying to help you out?
I did. I definitely did have a good support system, and I feel like there were some people that stuck by my side at my lowest. Yes. I feel like there was, but there was times where I felt like I was alone and there was no one, but I probably had temporarily burned the bridges of like my close friends and my family that were around me. So it's just like, I mean, and for a long time I couldn't, I mean, like, yeah, they, I tried to get the help, but looking back on it, I guess just, I wasn't, the only thing I can think of is just, I wasn't ready. Not that I didn't want to be used, I want to be fucking, excuse my language, I want to be, freaking,
you can be explicit, it's cool.
Oh, okay, cool. I want to be fucking, not doing shit and only just doing drugs, and that's literally that's all I did. If I wasn't getting drugs or waiting for drugs or sleeping or eating, I was actively just doing my addiction, and then maybe just getting all focused, super focused in like a video game or whatever. But whatever activity I was doing, I wouldn't go out, I wouldn't hang out with people. I was either where I was living, or I was over at the dealers or at a friend's or someone who used also, and we were using, or it was right next to me the whole time. That's it. So it's not like I wanted it to be like that. But even with those people that support, and even though I did have those people, I just would rather choose. I just would just choose the drug.
Yeah. You had easy access to it.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. And just like, even I'm a super social person, and like I feel like I was blessed with just being able to like talk to people and all that, growing up, and that unfortunately, reflected into my addiction part of my life. And so like, if it wasn't people that I grew up with or went to school with, if I met so and so through so and so, like, people come to like me, even though, I just, whatever. And unfortunately, that in due time made it just easier and easier to get and cheaper.
Now, you did one of the most incredible things that people can do, which is come out of the darkness, right?
I'm not a statistic. I mean, it was funny. I was just telling talking to my dad today and my mom. Well, my dad, though, I was was like, I'm happy. I was telling him about a friend who just died. Yeah, today I found out this girl I went to middle school with, she died of a brain aneurysm, and unfortunately she dealt with it. Like, coke was her main thing, cocaine, snorting it, and like whatever.
Yeah.
Recently, I don't know, I guess she was living in Pennsylvania, but she just died the other day of brain aneurysm, and then which led to a catastrophic brain injury. So I don't know if that was like, it could, like, my mind just goes 100 miles an hour,
Yeah,
so like,
yeah.
I'm like thinking, okay, so was she like sitting there, like standing, walking, sitting, has it, and then all of a sudden like smacks her head, which made it even worse? Or was it just because of that, and because of the after effects, it was just because of that, there was no coming back from it,
Yeah.
And she passed away. And I was talking to my, just sharing it with my dad, and he's like, yeah, it's so fucked up. I was like, it's sad, and I'm really glad that I'm just, it's just, people are dropping like flies for different reasons. I'm glad that I'm not a statistic, so
Yeah.
thank you, I appreciate that.
What do you do when you get like an anxiety attack? Has it happened?
So, okay, so like, if I'm being honest, like, I mean, so I said that I was, taking the medicine. I'm on Suboxone. I started out at 16 milligrams, which was like 2 8-milligram strips a day. Did that for like 5 months.
Yeah.
Because I never stuck a needle in my arm. I was always smoking. I was smoking my drugs, smoking the opiates, smoking meth on the side. So it fucked up my teeth. I'm like in the middle of like getting all my teeth redone. I might have to go to full-blown dentures, honestly, like the way it looks. I have all these teeth pulled out. This is temporary. All my existing teeth, I have teeth pulled already. Like, they just all got fucked off. But oh shit, I forgot why I was saying all that. Attacks.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
with anxiety attacks. So if I'm being honest, I'm taking the Suboxone. I started at 18 milligrams, went down to 16 milligrams, went down to 8 for almost a year, and I just went down to 4 milligrams. But also, I do smoke weed and I do drink alcohol, but I don't drink alcohol every night. And with me, everyone's different. My addiction was with opiates. Like, that was my main thing. I wasn't drinking alcohol. I wasn't smoking weed when I was in my addiction.
Yeah.
Because when it would make me way more fucked up. And it was like to the point of like getting, crossfaded, for those who may know about you. You're drinking, and if you smoke weed, and let's say you didn't smoke weed that day, you're drinking, you get drunk. And for me, that's just how I work. If I didn't if I'm not high already and I drink off weed, and I just drink and then I smoke, like I take a fat dab or smoke some weed, I'll get crossfaded, get the spins, either throw up and or just want to pass out. That's what would happen when I was in my addiction. And if I even smoked more than a literal hit or two, or if I drank more than one drink. So that being said, me in my addiction self, drinking and smoking weed doesn't lead me back, even though a lot of people are like in the rooms of AA and NA, like they say, well, it's more so NA, like drinking, smoking weed or whatever, it will eventually lead back to that. Well, with me, that was never me. I never smoked weed or drank. My mom knew if I was smoking weed that I'm good, that I wasn't doing drugs. Like, that's how she knows. That's how it is to this day. You know? And so with anxiety, I mean, I still get anxiety, but more so like, I've noticed that I got like it's not as bad. I'm getting better on it because I got a job. I changed my job. I'm a server. I was at one place for like over a year. Got hella depressed towards the last like few months of it. Didn't do anything about it. Got a different job. Now I'm a lot happier. So I got addicted to like my phone, social media.
Okay.
Oh my god, watching YouTube videos
Yeah.
like bad. Like when I was depressed, I would either just maybe play a little bit of like Call of Duty and like video games, but I wasn't really being social, going out. My driving situation right now, I have to like my license is revoked. I think I mentioned that maybe a little bit earlier.
Yeah, you did.
And that's a whole other thing. So that like, not I'm fucking 30 years old, not being able to drive and just have that normal freedom, which I haven't had legally in like 7 years.
Okay.
Is really fucks with my head and just whatever. So I still do get anxiety attacks, but to answer the question, I already made this a long ass answer. But
Are you good?
I just try to get my music is a huge thing for me. I've been just like I'm a break dancer just but for fun, nothing like
nice.
serious.
Yeah.
I love electronic music, EDM, house, all that freaking hardstyle, fucking dubstep, all that shit.
Oh, shit,
I love all that shit, all techno, all that. I love to shuffle and all that. And so like music, even just getting up and walking and going on a walk, putting in my AirPods, and just that really helps a lot with my anxiety. Or just I love talking on the phone, or like I have a couple friends, thank God, who also enjoy the same thing because everyone just likes to text nowadays.
Yeah.
But I guess call me old school, but like I don't mind having a conversation on the phone with someone for like an hour or 2 hours or whatever. Not all the time, but like
right.
you know what I mean. Like I'll talk on the phone for like 15 minutes or a couple minutes or whatever. Like I'd rather do that.
Yeah. Damn, you know what? I'm the same way. I like to talk, but unfortunately, I have the speech impediment where I stutter.
My brother does, and I do too. Actually, a tiny bit, but not as much.
Yeah, and so
that's my brother, I should say.
It's like I don't think some people have the patience, right? So I'm like, I'd rather text whoever I need a favor from.
Yours isn't bad though, and I'm saying that not like bad. It's not that any of it's bad, but I'm just saying like for my brother, like it would be like instead of someone saying, "Hey, what's up?" people like, "Hey, what's up?"
Okay.
Sometimes certain words, certain things, that's like how he'll stutter.
It's that damn tongue that gets stuck in.
Well, what's funny is that I'll like stutter, but I'll like say a word like that. I'll stutter like and say the word or like stutter the word like that or something.
Yeah.
My brother's is more of a silent stutter, but yeah, my mind goes way too fast. I'm naturally have ADHD, like for sure. And so I get it though, but I don't.
It's when your mind talks, but your mouth can't keep up, right?
Yeah, exactly. The physical.
I know what you mean.
Keeping up.
I know what you mean. Yeah, man. But that was the question the answer that I was trying to go for. I guess I should have be more specific. Like, what's a natural thing that you do to wind down and stuff like that?
Oh, and snowboarding. I got this last season. Oh my god, I snowboarded as a kid a couple times. It'd been years. Obviously, I didn't snowboard during my addiction.
Yeah.
Last time I snowboarded was when I was 21 years old. This past year, I got into snowboarding and. I feel like, honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, it's a natural, 100% huge dopamine, adrenaline, and serotonin rush. And obviously, my normal dopamine and serotonin levels are fucked up, of course, from all the ecstasy that I did.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Pokeball presses. Yo, shout out. You all know about Pokeball presses. But, so snowboarding, oh my gosh. And I'm low-key, like, getting, like, kind of decent at it. And so, like, I went up to Snowball, almost like 15-20 times this past season.
Nice. Spent
almost $1,000 on ski lift passes because I didn't have a season ticket.
Damn.
But this season I finally got one, so it's all good. But yeah, snowboarding's a huge thing. I'm so excited for that. I'm like 100%. That's like my new addiction. Like I'm proud to say it. I'm a shredder and I love it.
So as we're about to approach, man.
Yeah.
I always like to ask a question for the last question. A life lesson that you're willing to share to others that might need to hear something like that. You've been through a lot.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm glad that you're still here with us.
Thank you, man. I'd say I would have to say, wow. I'm gonna say you never know what someone's going through, so don't be too quick to get on someone's case. If it's road rage, if it's someone does something and they just freak out over it. It's just you have no idea. We all are so different. We are all caught up in our own lives, like sometimes I'll sit there and think like, oh, someone's driving, I wonder where they're going, what their plan is, are they like, what are they on an errand, or people are in a rush, or so just don't be too quick to like judge. I'd say, we're all so different, and we all have just life to deal with, and I think that no matter what you believe in, or what you're where you come from, it's just like, don't be so quick to judge someone and just like get on someone's case.
Yeah.
Just I don't know, just try to be open-minded. I'd say be open-minded. The world's changing, technology's getting crazy, and it's just, it's life's too short. You never know what's gonna happen. It could be, we could be hanging out here one day. There's that huge conflict going on over across the world, and it's like, we're chilling right now. You know what I mean? We're not having to worry about freaking missile attacks. They've been dealing with that for years, and it's just, but God's good.
Definitely, dude. Thank you, Blake.
Hey, thank you so
much. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Are you okay if I use this for the podcast then?
Yeah, of course. Will it be on YouTube?
On YouTube, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
On YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast.
Okay.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Blake. Blake, again, I told you this in person. I'm happy that you are still here with us in this earth. I'm glad that you are doing way better. And there is nothing to do here but keep climbing up. And before we finalize, let's bring up the last sponsor for this video. That's right, I got 2 sponsors. What is my second sponsor? I don't It turns out I don't have a second sponsor. Yeah, I don't have enough money to afford another sponsor. So I guess, hey, let's give a shout out to Journey Chronicles, a life story from the passenger seat, with the host, the driver, and co-host, you. Join me next week for another episode, and it's gonna be thrilling. It was supposed to be a scarier laughter, but I guess I failed at that. Just how I failed on my math test in 5th grade. But hey, look at me now. I'm doing way better than what I was doing in 5th grade. In 5th grade, I didn't have any money, but now I have a few bucks. Take that, life. And with that, I'll end this podcast for today. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on another thrilling journey of Journey Chronicles. Life story from the passenger seat, and that means you, the listener. So hopefully the next time you get in my car, you see the sign I have back there and say, hey, could I be on your podcast? I'll be, of course, with a low monthly payment of $19.99. No, I'm kidding. Yes, anyone can be on my podcast, and I encourage you to be on my podcast. Now, you never know if you're going to get me, of course, right? But always ask, excuse me, driver, are you the guy with the podcast? And if they say no, then tell them, cancel the trip, please. Thank you very much. And then get out the car and request another one until you get me, the driver, the host of Journey Chronicles, life story from the passenger seat. I'll see you out there on the road, guys. Be safe, look both ways, be smart.